we, his colleagues who remain on the field, wish him well. And for me personally, coming in as Prime Minister in 2016 and meeting Prime Minister Rowley at a time when relations between Jamaica and Trinidad were possibly at an all-time low, where there were threats of boycott and threats of blocking citizens' movements. And then we met and struck up a friendship, you recall. And I said, listen, Prime Minister, come to Jamaica, come and visit me, man. Let us talk this thing over. And Prime Minister Rowley graciously accepted the visit to Jamaica. You were my first international guest. And we had a very good talk about the issues. We developed a very strong relationship. And we were able to resolve the issues. And I think today, trade is better. Movement of citizens between the two countries are better. I think the region is better. And I want to publicly say how pleased I am and how privileged I feel to have served with you as a colleague in this fraternity. And that you are truly the epitome of a Caribbean man. Definitely you will be missed on the scene, but I'm sure your voice will be heard. What would my friend?
Let me join.
Thank you. You know, we have a curry situation here. But I want to really say that Prime Minister Rowley and myself, we have developed a very strong friendship. He is my brother. And his contribution to Guyana is enormous from many perspectives. Many of you may not recall, but Prime Minister Rowley was the chair of Caricom during a very difficult period after the 2020 elections in Guyana. A time when there was great tension, democracy was under threat, rule of law, and respect for the results from the elections. Prime Minister Rowley arrived from international engagement at 2 a.m. in the morning, called by Prime Minister Motley, the Bureau, members of the Bureau at that time, and made his way to Guyana. And the rest is history. Democracy, rule of law, respect for the elections, and having the region leading in the resolution was a historic moment for this region. And I want to applaud his leadership as chair and the entire team at that time that allowed Caricom to resolve a matter within Caricom. The second historic moment in the relationship of Guyana and Trinidad, but in the region itself, was when we achieved the Argyle Agreement in St. Vincent. You would recall that many prime ministers, and I did then, I will continue to do so, to thank the prime ministers who left their homes and journeyed to St. Vincent to help us in a very delicate time to resolve an issue where the temperature was high. And I want to thank you again, Prime Minister Rowley, for your personal commitment and your involvement in that matter. Your strong views, you know, those who know him, the stone face, don't be carried away with the stone face and the hard views. Beneath that, we have had, since my time here, very strong conversation. But at the end of it, they were all geared towards the best interests of the region and to give us the best possible result. I want to thank you for your friendship, for your guidance, and for the way in which we have been able to work together, Guyana and Trinidad, but in the region, to strengthen our relationship and our bonds. I wouldn't say I'll miss you because I'm sure, I've said it publicly already, that the experience our leaders build up over the years must continue to be the reservoir of knowledge and also the asset that we must rely on in this region. Thank you very much for your service, sir.
If this was the Court of Appeal, and I'm the third judge to deliver my judgment, I'll just say I concur. Which I do, I concur. I encountered Keith during the course of my own political career, several over the years, but was always very, very fleeting. And my first observation was, Ifan talks about stone face. I used to say, this is a stony fella. And a stone, it's just cold. And I don't know, someone told me, I don't know whether it's Andrew or Ifan says, when I eventually became Prime Minister in 2021, said, no, he's a good guy, just get to know him. Just get to know him, and you'll know that he's a good guy. I got to know him, and he truly became a good guy. Then I realized that he was a geologist, and that's why he became what he worked with, stone. But again, he's been a rock, an anchor for the steady progress that we've made since I was here as part of the Caricom leadership. And I've always been able to depend on him. He's been dependable as a rock. He's been as steady as a rock. And he has, as I said, been the anchor for what we've been doing over the years. And I don't think, and I've been talking to some of my colleagues, my former prime ministers in the Bahamas, and their observation has been always, they have not seen Caricom as unified as they're seeing it today. There's always some issue, and I think, and I sense the unity. We are all seem to be on one accord. We have our differences, we talk it through, and then we hug and kiss afterwards. And I think that is also due to the fact that there's always this anchor who keeps us together. And let me just tell the rock, we will miss you here. But as you know, we'll continue to call on you, and you have a place to play golf.
I just have to tell the men who continue to refer to Keith as a stony-faced person, that is not the person who moved with me on Wednesday evening when I tried to get the crowd to dance to the Christchurch Foundation Steel Orchestra. And he was up front and center helping me to bring the others. And the truth is, Keith, people talk about flying fish in Tobago, and Rafan talked about curry, but the one thing that we appreciate is your commitment always to face facts fairly and squarely. You have been highly principled, and you have been never fearful of a situation. And we will take from you that as we continue to manage our affairs in this community. And as all have said, we know that you are a phone call away, and that your love for this region is really what has driven you to excel in the manner in which you have. The last word, my dear friend, at the 48th Heads of Government Conference of the Caribbean Community must be yours.
Thank you very much.
Laurent says he wants to speak too, so the whole thing.
I just met Prime Minister Rowley because it's my first experience in this meeting as head of state. But honestly, for the past 2 days, I've learned a lot from you. You're not shy.
Not at all.
Through all the discussions, I can say he's a man of wisdom. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, colleagues. I'm humbled by your comments, and it's not very often in the political arena that you manage to elicit such positive comments. Usually it is the opposite, and probably only gets modified after you're dead. But it's good to be alive and to be among friends who can speak like that of you. I am humbled, and I am grateful for having been a part of this team. And just for the moment, permit me to say that when I joined this group of people with the responsibility for a Caribbean nation, it was a time when there was a huge negative view on Caricom. And at my first meeting in Guyana, our elder statesman, Ralph Gonzalez, speaking from no script, but speaking from the heart, criticized the Caribbean region and those who write about us and speak about us for downplaying what we have been able to accomplish through Caricom. And he asked us not to undervalue Caricom, even though there was a lounge and he's still ahead. That was 2015. And it pleased me when at the opening, outgoing chairman, young Dickon Mitchell, said on Wednesday night, I think it was, that he came in as a prime minister in Caricom, very skeptical of this thing that he had to work in called Caricom. But he admitted that he had become a convert to Caricom and a great believer in this entity. And I think it means a lot to us that we are, in fact, a valuable gathering. And as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who hosted us all at the 50th anniversary at the founding location in Chagaramas recently, I simply want to lead by asking my colleagues to continue to subscribe to what I've encouraged you to do, because together we are always stronger in every single circumstance. Once we are together, we will be stronger. We might not grow in size physically, but certainly we will not be inconsequential. Especially at this time where the world is changing from news hour to news hour. We are required to rise to the occasion and never accept that we can be left behind. So I am moving on, away from office, but not away from the region or from my friends. I want to thank all of you who have already invited me to spend some time with you in your various territories, including Martinique, where I've climbed so many volcanoes. And today was a very emotional moment for me to be a part of the Caribbean nation welcoming Martinique into Caricom as an associate nation. This is something that is like a dream come true. And if there's anything I can do to continue to be of service to the people of the Caribbean, it is the one nation that I have, the country of Trinidad and Tobago in Caricom, and I will never shy away from defending or serving as I've tried to do. So thanks for all of you who made it possible for me to contribute and to be with you as a brother and as a Caribbean man. So having said that, thanks again, and we look forward. So, and on that basis, I accept the honor to bring this unusually successful, historic meeting to a close. The 48th Conference of the Heads of Government is now at an end. Thank you for your attention.